What's up, film family? Welcome to the Film Room Podcast. My name is Scott,
My name's Dion.
and today we are doing Blade. Wesley Snipes, the 2000. Actually, I didn't write it down. When did this movie come out? 98.
Oh, 19.
1998. This movie came out. In this episode, we're going to be gathering some listener opinions. We're going to enter the deep dive where we give our opinions and thoughts. Finish the show with the Filmies, which is our award show. But before all that, we have to enter our general thoughts. General thoughts. Dion, what are your thoughts? I'm assuming this is a rewatch for you. What do you think of Blade?
It's got a special place for me just because this is like a movie that I watched as like a kid, which is funny because it's not a kid's movie at all. But
No.
not
It's
like
rated R, isn't
when
it?
I say kid, not like elementary kid, more like early high school, like early not high school, early like preteen. I was probably like 12 or 13 when I watched this
Okay.
movie as a kid, and for me, it was the first time ever seeing like a black like hero lead. So it was just kind of cool to me, like at that
Mm-hmm.
point. So it holds a special place for me because of that. It's a badass fun movie. So it is a rewatch. But no, I love Blade. It's just like, oh, dope. There's a black superhero, and it's just like it's kind of bad. He's killing vampires. It's just like cool concept that was just kind of foreign
Yeah. I mean,
at
the
the time
black
for me.
the black representation is huge for sure. I think that's why, like, this movie's almost got itself like a cult following. It was a big box office success, and I think a big part of that is the black community. Like we saw that with
Mhm.
Black Panther, made
Oh yeah,
$1 billion. Sinners exploded. A big part of
yeah,
that was just, black people latch onto something and they just run with it. They just
yeah.
that sense of community is so strong. And someone says like, "Oh, there's a bunch of black people like making in a cool movie. You should go watch it." Everyone's like, "Say less. I'm there."
That's
But I
true.
mean, this movie, like, I think there's a lot of fun stuff, a lot of fun moments. It's got great action, but I think the story is very like cookie cutter, very basic. I think
Hmm.
it's there's a clear line, like a before and after the Nolan Batman movies of like layers to superhero
Yeah.
movies. Like this is just like very straightforward. It's like here's the bad guy, here's the good guy. He's got to kill the bad guy. And
Hmm.
that's basically the story. And the bad guy, he's trying to like take over the world or do whatever he's trying to do, and
Yeah.
like that's all it is, which is okay. I mean, like you said, it just makes it a fun movie, especially for like I guess for kids, but you also have vampires like burning alive and stuff, so it's not really just for kids, but
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, in the movie's defense, like I feel like it's not fair to compare it to those Nolan movies because up until that point, no one was making superhero movies
that's what
like
I'm
that. So
saying.
what would be the
Yeah.
point? Like you'd look back at your track record, you'd see what they were doing with like Keaton Batmans and the Supermans, everything before. Is like, does anyone want layered superhero movies? I don't think so. Like, I think
Right.
everyone's going to see this Batman and this Superman. So like, let's just keep a cookie cutter. That's what people are going to see.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, I don't blame this movie specifically. No,
Mm,
I totally agree. That's why I say I think there's a clear before and after
yeah,
that. Like this is just what all the movies are. But like now that we're in that after and we've seen layered superhero
yeah,
movies, I'm like coming back to this. I'm just like, man, the story kind of sucks. But like
yeah,
for what it is, for what is just being a superhero movie, if you just don't care about the story and you're just in
yeah,
it for like the action and fun stuff, which is what the movie is. It's an action movie.
yeah.
It's a great time. It's solid rewatch.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. Because it was a rewatch for me, and I haven't seen. Was this your first time, or you saw it before?
No, I've seen it, but not for ages.
Okay, yeah.
When
It
had you
almost
seen it
felt like I
recently?
was watching it for the first time. It's been so long since I watched
Okay.
it, to be honest.
Yeah, same. Same. Like there was definitely like little like I remembered main characters and obviously just the premise of what Blade is, but
Yeah,
like little specifics there's tons that I forget. Like even just like plot points like
yeah,
why like what Frost is actually trying to do and why Blade's over here and how he connects with Karen and all this stuff. I didn't remember none of that stuff.
yeah. No, it's true. I mean, I even forgot about the twist. I mean, we'll get more into the twist later, but like, kind of like the twist at the end, I completely forgot about that.
Just about Blade himself.
No, like the twist of like, like with all stuff with his mom at the end. I completely forgot
Oh,
about that.
true. Yeah,
Completely forgot about that.
that's a good point. That's a good point. Me
But
too.
with that being said, let's hear from the family.
Let's hear from the film family.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Well, film family, welcome. Everybody gather around the table. Let's have a nice meal, talk about this movie here. Welcome to the family meeting where we ask for your opinions on the movie and we react to them, talk about them. So, uh, actually, before even talking about this movie specifically, this
Mm.
was the choice of this movie was based on a poll that we did on our Instagram at the Film Room Pod. Check it out. For Halloween. Happy Halloween. I guess we just forgot to mention
Happy
that.
Halloween. I'm rocking. I got the Halloween set. I got the pumpkins over here. People watching on
Nice.
YouTube. I'm rocking a Halloween shirt, which was actually on the poll.
Yep. You got
And then I put a Sinners
Ghostface.
thing up. I mean, I always said I don't want to glaze Sinners too much, but kind of goes with the theme of the movie we're doing. So
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Vampire. Oh, I didn't even take that in. Yeah. Right. It's the whole
yeah,
vampire thing. I
and
finally put
I got Blade's sword behind
Yeah,
me
you got
too.
the sword. That's pretty dope. I got a nice Batman comic I put up here. It's I mean, it has
New
nothing to do with
edition.
vampires, but he's like cutting the Batman logo into his chest and it's all bloody. Looks pretty cool.
No, that's dope.
I think it looks cool.
No, that's
So
dope.
the poll was The Invisible Man, Halloween, Blade, and Saw. And Blade took the win with 44%. The Invisible Man and Halloween each had 22%. Saw with 11%. So pretty spread out, but
Mhm.
Blade ultimately got the win. Did you have any expectations going in?
I was surprised because I mean, I never really know where it's gonna go. I think part of me thought that maybe Halloween would win just because it's Halloween, and
Yeah.
then people would be like, "Well, I guess it's Halloween. They'll pick Halloween." I mean, I'm happy with what it ended because Blade's a classic, but I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna be Halloween. With Invisible Man, I was like, I was even saying on like that list episode I made with Eloise that like it's not well known, so I was like, I don't know if
Mm,
it's gonna get like any votes. It did get a couple votes, and then Saw. I know like people have like their specific thoughts about like Saw, so I was like maybe people don't want to know it, like especially the ones that people that haven't seen it, like I don't know if I want to watch like that Saw thing. But I'm like, for those that haven't seen it, man, there's a reason there's 10 movies.
yeah,
Like you
I
don't
guess
get to
so.
make 10 movies unless the first one bangs. I'm telling you, the first Saw bangs.
That's a fair point, but I will say that's the one that I was hoping was not getting picked. Like
I know, and
that's
I knew I figured you would, and that was the one I was hoping would get picked so I could put you on, and then you could appreciate what Saw is because
nah.
the
I
first
don't
one's
want
not
it.
as bad as all the other ones
Oh, really?
in the
I
sense of like the goriness.
I thought
No,
that's
it's not.
that's what it's all about. It's just gore.
Nah, that's a story. It's a whole mystery. The whole
Ah,
jigsaw
okay.
story. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it was just that, there's no way they could end up making 10 of them. Like the first one had to do something.
Not
And it's the
necessarily.
mystery.
If the gore is well done, like if people are into the scares and like the gruesomeness of it, and you always talk about like a scary movie wants to scare you or like freak you out or gross you out, and if it's good at doing that, then that could be a success.
Yeah, but there needs to be a little more substance. Like look,
Yeah.
some of the movies like we're even talking about, like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Saw, like all these movies, their first movies, usually it's not really a spoiler. They all have like this twist that people were like, oh snap, I didn't see that coming, or like, oh snap, like that's crazy. And then they're like, okay, now this is a cash cow and we can make money off of it. Saw is
Right.
one of those where it's like there's these elements of the movies that you just don't see coming. It's not predictable, and then there's also the element of all the horror. But then as they keep going, then they get ridiculous. Like there's 10 Jasons, there's like 15 Halloweens, there's 10 Saws, because now they've just established this cult audience.
Yeah.
But the initial ones always do something that just shock people, and it's like, well, I've never seen that before. Which is why I
Yeah.
was hoping that maybe one of these movies would get picked. I still love Blade because there's a lot of this movie did that trend that started kind of like a trend, especially what it did for Marvel going forward. But
Hmm.
it'll
Yeah. I
happen in
mean,
the future.
I
They'll
think
be watched eventually.
yeah, we'll do probably all of these at some point, especially the Invisible Man. It's one you've mentioned multiple times on the podcast,
Mm,
so I can tell you're very into it, and I think it seems interesting too. I think the like I've seen the trailer for it, and it looks exciting. It
mm,
looks gripping. I'm excited to watch it. I was hoping either that one or Blade got picked.
mm.
Um, but honestly, like any movie franchise that reaches 10, like there's no way you can just have that many ideas for those many good movies. Like I feel like once you reach like a trilogy is perfect. 4
Yeah.
is like you can still have a good fourth movie. Once you get to 5, you're pushing it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see with John Wick. That's like the only one I could think of, like they're where it feels like they're pushing it now. They're
Yeah,
trying to.
that's what I mean. And how many movies in are we? 5, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess Ballerina, and it would be the fifth one, but
That's what I mean.
now the next one. Yeah. No, you're right though. It is Fast and Furious. Take a
Oh
shot.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
but no, it's true. But no,
Oh.
you were expecting. What did you have any expectations of what you thought?
No, I you never know. You never know what the family's
Yeah.
gonna decide. I don't really have expectations. It's more like what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. That's fair.
And then as far as the question for this week, I asked on our story, what's the best type of vampire movie? Is it fun stuff like this, like Blade, just, a crazy black dude killing vampires? Uh, spooky type, like example, like Nosferatu, like more scary, serious type vibe, or a more dramatic style, like a Twilight kind of movie. And 80% said fun stuff like this. 0% on the spooky type. The film family was not down for some scary vampires, and 20% said Twilight. What do you think?
It's interesting. Well, I'm curious. Where do you think? Where would you put Sinners
That's a
in
good
that? Because I
question.
feel like it touches on all that
Yeah, you're right. It
when you
really
think about
does.
it.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, Sinners. It's not like yes, it's vampires are involved in it, but I feel like the story is more about the people and
Mm.
like even though the antagonist, I can't the Irish vampire, I can't remember his
Yeah.
name, but yes, he's a vampire, but I feel like it's more about like his obsession with Sammy and the music and like luring
Hmm.
people out and like so I feel like there's so much more to that. So I guess I would say more dramatics. I would put in more dramatics.
Hmm. Yeah. No,
You?
that's fair. No, I'd probably do the same. And the poll is interesting too because like I mean, there's so many different like I feel like Blade kind of sits in the fun, but it also has like a little element because there is still a little internal conflict. Like just in the aspect of the fact that there is like this whole like under culture world because not every vampire thing has that.
Right.
Sometimes you go into a vampire movie and the first question I'm usually thinking is like, okay, does people know vampire exists or are they kind of
Mm.
just like a secret? Because sometimes it's just like okay, everyone knows there's vampires. Watch out for the vampires. Don't go here at night. But like in this world, no one knows it. So like they embedded at least that element to it to adds to the a little bit of drama to it.
That is a good point. And that was actually one of my points into the deep dive was like I wish they went a little deeper into that. Into like the
Hmm.
control that the vampires had over like they talk about the banks, the police, politics. They're like everyone's in their pocket. And they just kind of mention it a few times. They're like, "Oh, everybody like you can't trust anybody. They have people everywhere." But like we don't really run into that very much.
Hmm.
So I kind of wish they went a little deeper into that in this movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's a lot of like internal conflicts, even like what Blade has that there's a lot of things that just get mentioned that they could have been a flashback or they could have dived into it deeper. Like just the fact that was it Whistler? That was this guy's
Whistler,
name, right?
yeah, yeah,
Whistler said that he found him when he was like 13. And at that point, he was like feeding. Like, show us a flashback of that, man. Maybe show us the first time you found Blade or whatever it is, right? And like, you could tap into Blade kind of like being like, ah, man, like, do I? Because even asked her, like, oh, remember, if you take the serum, you're gonna lose your powers. Like, do you want to just be a straight like a human, or are you kind of embracing the fact that like you're a vampire? Like, it's kind of who you are now. You know what I mean? Like, could tap into that a little more.
yeah, yeah. That's a good point. But I feel like I agree with that. But I think as well the vampires in their like cult or like their council almost that's clear
Hmm.
like an Illuminati kind of vibe to it, right? Like
Yeah.
they're actually pulling the strings behind the scenes and like you could have had Karen, trying to do stuff at work, like looking into the vampires and the blood or something, and then like her supervisor or whatever at the hospital is like, no, no, don't look into that, or steals her research, or like I feel like there was just
Yeah.
more that they could have played on with that. I think it could have been, but I guess they, like we said, like at this time. layered superhero stories just weren't a thing. They were like, oh, audiences don't want that. They just want to see Wesley Snipes come and kill 100 vampires. So that's what we're gonna
Yeah.
do. But like
No, 100.
now, if you were to make that movie now, maybe that's where you would go with it. And I think it could have been even better.
Yeah, which is interesting. I mean, like there was obviously the talks of like the remake happening, and obviously through like the strikes and like the kind of creative direction disagreements and stuff like that, and writers, directors kind of being at odds, it didn't end up happening. But I wonder if they were. I mean, at this point, they'd have to take that approach. But I'm just interested to see what it would have been, and I don't know if we'll
True.
ever get that movie. It's
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't. I'm not saying I don't think we'll ever get a Blade movie, but it won't be the same one that they tease. Like it probably won't be Mahershala Ali. That's
yeah.
like that was so long ago. He's kind of, he's not getting any younger. I've actually, where is that guy? I haven't seen that guy in years.
Yeah, that's so. I don't know. Last time the last thing I remember seeing him is like the Green Book, but like I don't. I think he was in Moonlight. He was in Moonlight too,
Yeah, that was
but
ages ago.
that was a long time ago. Yeah, I don't know. You're seeing what he's saying now.
I'm not googling. The Green Book came out in 2018.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. And
What are
Moonlight, I
we
think, was 19.
Moon? Was it
Right? I think
Moonlight?
so. Or
2016.
Oh, damn! It's even older. I don't
Alita
know.
Battle. He was in Alita Battle Angel. That was 2019. Like, bro, it just was 6 years, and he was hot.
Well, because
too.
he was gonna do Blade.
Okay, but then what? So they decided not to go with it. So Kevin Feige just shot him. Like, what the hell, man?
I
Like,
don't know.
You could do other
You're,
stuff.
I think when you do a Marvel movie, you're kind of like you can't do anything else. Like I'm locked into this. Like it's a whole thing. So he was like, "Oh, I can't do any projects because I'm Blade right now."
Yeah, but that's been dead in the water for years now. Give it up, Mahershala. If you're still waiting on Blade, like, give it up, bro. And I want to see him again. He's a great actor.
No, he is a great actor. I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna go on with Blade, but
I don't know. I do
we'll
have
see.
one more shout out before we break up the family meeting.
Okay.
Nerds to the core. Shout out
Okay. Yeah.
Nerds to the core.
Shout outs.
They responded to the question like, what's the best type of vampire movies? I didn't see exactly which one they voted on. Maybe they didn't even vote. But anyways, they said, regardless of the type, I feel they need to have the same tropes like fear of sunlight, stake through the heart, drinking blood, etc. So no matter what type of movie, what kind of vibe or feel you're going with, as long as you stay true to the classic tropes, they're good with it.
Yeah, stay true to the lore. No,
Yeah.
I get that. Which
Yeah.
to me, I agree, but there's always, I feel like in every movie, there's always an element that they either just ignore or they elevate. Like in this one, for example, there's no invite me in, which is like a
true.
but I guess but that's just not in the Blade comics, which I kind of forgot about if it was in there, but people were going in and out of every place. No one had to be invited in anywhere.
No. Yeah, no one had to be invited in. They even mentioned, they're like, man, a cross doesn't do shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy water doesn't do shit. If you're walking around with that, you might as well be dead. So, but I mean, at least they, if you're gonna be pick choosy about which ones you go with and which ones you don't, at least like communicate that to the audience so we know.
Yeah.
So they do that in this, which is fair.
It's funny because they always do it the same way, which is like shitting on where it's just like it's like, what, yo, you think the steak wasn't worth some stupid ass fairy tale shit?
That's just
I'm like,
movie
you're a
stuff.
vampire. What do you like? I'm seeing a vampire for the first time. I'm supposed to think these little semantics are all right, whatever, dude.
Yeah, yo, that's only in stories and movies. This is real life. It's like, this is also a movie, guy. All right, so like,
Yeah.
let's not be too condescending about it. Like, yes, set the limits of what does and doesn't kill these things or whatever. But like, come on, that's a good point. Okay, entering the deep dive. I guess we've already kind of been talking about, but Wesley Snipes. What do you think of Wesley Snipes in this movie?
I thought he was great. Like, I mean, it's this very like stoic character that is just like, honestly, like after watching this, like it's funny to watch this now with like a whole new palette of movies that I have watched. That not necessarily thinking that these other movies maybe took inspiration from it, but it's that same kind of vibe of like he's got this John Wick kind of presence to him, where everyone's like, "Oh snap!" Like when they realize that Blade is here, everyone's like, "Oh snap, that's Blade." it's the baby. It's like it's like the
Baba
Baby Yaga kind of this whole thing, right? It's just
Yeah.
like, oh crap, it's Blade.
True, he doesn't have any nicknames. They should have given him some
Well,
nicknames.
Blade. His name's Eric.
Yeah, true. Well, more nicknames. Out of John Wick's got what? The Baba Yaga. He's got. I feel like there was more. No.
I think there is, but that's the main one though. That's
Yeah.
the top one.
Boogeyman. I
Yeah,
guess
the
that's just
Boogeyman.
Russian for boogeyman, isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. But you're right. That's a good point actually. That just the aura when he enters the room, they're all just like, oh snap, like he's here to kill us. Like he has this whole legend around him. But I mean, that's interesting that that's the case because, like, I almost feel like it's that thing of he doesn't leave any survivors. So who's telling these stories?
Mm. I mean, I guess Quinn.
Yeah,
He's always
Quinley
leaving him
left
to
it, yeah.
survive.
Yeah, that whole dynamic is ridiculous. That guy's just like joking around the whole movie, just like being a funny weirdo. Like everyone else is super serious and they're like, no, I'm like, we feed on these. These are just cattle, and we're gonna release the blood god and turn everyone to a vampire. And this guy's just fucking cracking jokes and stealing Blade's sunglasses. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, he's just having
He's
a
like
good
in
time.
a different movie.
I mean, we did get a little. Frost did open up a little bit, like when he was pretending to cut Quinn's arm off.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, I'm just messing with you.
That's true.
He's like, I'm just messing with you. I was
That's
like,
true.
okay. I was like, okay, he's got jokes. He's got jokes.
Yeah. I think you made the point too about Blade. Just in the character, he's very stoic. So in Wesley Snipes' performance, he doesn't really give us a lot of emotion or
Mhm.
depth. But I think it was a great physical performance. Like in the action, like his fighting and everything was super sick. Like just different weapons, the fighting with the sword, dope. Like lighting people on fire, running, jabbing sticks through the heart, doing backflips and fighting kids even in the that underground like Bible room. It was a great physical performance, but I think the demeanor and the delivery was very flat. Like I said, like some of that is because of the character himself, and I get that. But I don't know. I thought he could have been a little bit better in that aspect.
Yeah, I know what you mean to a certain extent, where it does feel it is very really deadpan. But I'm like, after you keep watching the movie, I'm like, well, that's what the character is. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not familiar watching it, you're kind of maybe to think of like, oh, is he just like acting bad? Is this not good acting? But I'm like, well, they've kind of established as like who he is. Like even just like the line of like when she's like, oh, do you care about Whistler? She's like, he makes the weapons and I use them. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's who this guy is. Like he's not going to open up to us. He's just going to be like a robot basically.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, and I think that it's true. Like that is with the character, but I almost be more like lean into the cookie cutter action style of this movie and just be more like badass with it. Like he makes the weapons, I just use them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like just like, yeah, you're not in the words that you're saying. You're not opening up and telling us like, no, that's my guy. He's basically a father figure to me from when I was 13. Like, no,
Mhm.
that's not what Blade is. That's not what he's gonna say. But like, I don't know, just make it more like cool almost. Like he was very, very stoic and like level, but almost like be more like go badass with it because his fighting style was badass. But like, and then
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna argue here that Blade's not badass, or just
No,
I
no,
guess in
I'm
his
saying
delivery.
that literally that's what I'm saying. Like if you like basically play it as if you know you're a badass and talk like that. That's where I think it could have been a little bit cooler. Because yes, like you're right, he's not going to be very animated in his response. That's not what the character is. But like, could it be more animated in the sense of like, yeah, I'm him. Like when she asks, she's like, oh, you're gonna go out there? Like there's bad stuff out there. He's like, there's something worse than vampires out there tonight. Like what? Me. And he just kind of like says it, but I'm like, that's a bar, man. You gotta like lean into
Yeah.
that.
No, that's true. I'm almost wondering, like, is that like should we got like a zoom in, or is that too campy? Like
Nah.
he turns back at her, and then it's like we got to pan into his face, me, and then we.
Oh no, that's what this movie is, man. That's if you're gonna go for it, go for it. Like you know what we talked about like in the Furious in our Tifa episode. Like they did that in that movie because that movie
Yeah.
knew exactly what it was and went for it. And that's what I feel like they should have done.
Well, I think this movie knew what it wanted to do in the sense of like we're gonna be badass physically, because as you mentioned, they did that really well, and
Yes.
that part is badass. And
Yes.
I think that is what they leaned into more than anything, where they're like, yeah, that's what we're gonna be. We're just gonna be the bad. Not I shouldn't say just because
Yeah.
it's not a just. It is a badass action movie. Like it's which is interesting too because like I didn't when I was like I was searching up Blade, obviously just doing like research for the pod, and I saw this Reddit post that kind of like um that kind of like raised my eyebrow. I was like, I never really even thought about that because like obviously we weren't watching the movies like in the times, so we weren't really like in like the 90s like aesthetic and all this stuff. So like we're kind of going back and watching a movie and you watch another movie, then you kind of look at the dates when they come out, you're like, oh yeah, that's true. Where it's just like the vibe of this movie is so close to the Matrix.
Mm. Oh
They got the
yeah,
long trench coats, the kung fu, the slow motion, the fast pace, just like some like these white rooms and stuff like that. It's very close, and it just came out a year before too.
and the people too, like the alternative style, like when the nightclub right at the first in the opening
Yeah,
scene, right? The type of music they're playing, like everyone's got, like you said, the long trench coat, like everyone's wearing like straps and leather, like it's a, I don't want to say goth. I feel like that's not, like alternative
no,
is
it
kind
is.
of the
I'd say goth. It is kind of
okay.
like a goth because
And everyone's
everyone's
like
pale
into
too.
yeah. Well, they're vampires, but
Yeah,
so yeah, it's really just that style of music that we're in and the kind of vibe of the world. Yeah, that's a good point. It's
it's
very
like
Matrix.
techno, cyberpunk
Yeah, yeah,
kind of era where it's just like yeah, all the techno music when fight scenes happening, that's very like the Matrix too. And then like you mentioned the club. I mean, like the club thing is just like a staple in action movies. Like John Wick's we mentioned John Wick. Like
yeah.
if you're gonna make a badass fight scene movie, you're gonna have some kind of club scene or some kind of techno music. It feels like
Because I feel like that's a great excuse to give it like awesome lighting and music.
yeah,
Like if if someone's fighting in the street, it's just going to be like sunlight, or maybe it's
yeah,
dark and there's street lights or whatever. But like you put it in a club, but you could go with a crazy strobe light. You got different colors going. You could just make it look amazing. And like if you're just doing that in the street, us as watchers would be like, "What the hell is going on here? Like how is this happening? Why are the lights like this?" Put it in a club, and we're just like, "Yeah, hell
yeah.
yeah, this is great."
No, 100%.
I think the you mentioned the like the you kind of choose what the rules are with the vampires when you enter a movie is like, okay, do
Hmm.
people know they exist or not, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of attribute that to the world,
Hmm.
like world building. And I think a part of this movie that's actually pretty cool is the world too, and in that sense of like, no, they don't know the vampires exist and they're kind of running stuff behind the scenes. But also I feel like the physical space of the world had this kind of aura of like darkness and like
Hmm.
ominous, like an ominous feel to it in the way they build it with one literal darkness. This movie is very dark. Like,
Yeah.
it's a vampire movie, that's to be expected. But also like whenever Blade's out in the street, like they're just like empty. Like there's nobody in
Yeah.
the streets. Every time he pulls up with his car, there's like garbage and newspapers blowing around him. Like every single time. Like there is no anybody cleaning the streets in this town. I don't know. Is it a name city? Like, is this New York or is this just a fictional
It,
city?
it feels like New York. I actually don't know if it is. We never get like a little title
Yeah,
pop saying like New York City or like I don't think it is, but it feels very much like New York.
yeah.
Like me
But
and Eloise, I watched it with Eloise, and we were kind of saying it was New York.
you
We
kind
were
of just
talking about it.
assume that it's New York, I guess, but it never
Yeah,
says. Yeah, but I just think like the empty streets, like the papers floating around and stuff, and the like actual darkness, kind of just like you exit the streets and you're just like, ooh, what's around that corner? Like you just feel a little creepy. I thought that was done
yeah.
well.
One thing that like I started to think about just because when I'm watching this movie, I'm thinking like, okay, what vampire lore exists in this movie? Like I'm trying to understand because there's elements in the movie, and this isn't even like hating; it's me just questioning because I actually don't know the answer, and I didn't really end up seeing it because I looked up the lore. I was like, what is the lore in Blade versus like True Blood? Because True Blood's a show I always go back to because like it was long and there was like 7 seasons, so like there's all this lore built. So that's where I kind of took a lot of my vampire lore from. And then when I watch something else, I'm like, okay, they're doing this different. Because like scenes when they're like out in the public and they're just kind of doing stuff, no one's really like looking at them. Like one specific thing I think about is when Frost throws that kid into the road.
Oh yeah.
There's like, first of all, there's no one even like looking at the fact that this random like just white dude is just holding this child. No one's kind of like, yo, what are you
Yeah.
doing? He
Yeah.
throws her. Blade like saves her, and like there's no uproar or anything. No one's like, yo, is she okay? Did no one
Yeah.
see them? Are they just moving so fast? Are they invisible? Like, that whole scene, I was kind of like, what's going on here?
Yeah. No, you're right. That is a good point. That's a weird scene that feels like it really doesn't need to be there, but that is a good point of just nobody seeing them. And I think another moment is when the cop, the guy that's like working for Frost, but he's human, goes to Karen's house
Yeah.
and he's going to kill her. Blade beats the shit out of him, which by the way was funny when he does this. He's like throwing him around the whole apartment, breaking
Oh, yeah.
tables and everything. And Karen's just like, is all of this really necessary? Like, this is my house. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Like, you're breaking all my stuff. That was funny. Just that little line. But then he goes down into the cars parked on the street, and Blade has like a gun to his head, and he's all bloodied up, and he shows him the blood. And he's like, "You're gonna tell me where you take this?" And like everyone's just walking around like nothing's happening. He's holding a police officer hostage.
That was my other point. And if you want to go in deeper, a black guy is beating up a cop in like the middle. Is it not broad
In 1998.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
And no one's doing nothing. I'm like, all right. Like, my thought was like, maybe they just can't see him or something's. This is like some kind of glamour that I don't know, because glamour is like a thing. Like, the vampires can do this thing where people like are not seeing them and stuff like that, or like they're disguised as something else. I was like, this has to be happening. I wasn't like taking like this is my Ferris Bueller or anything like that, but I was just like, that was what I almost forgot to mention, but that was crazy. Just beating a cop in the middle of the day.
I know. Like when that was happening, I was watching. I was just like, this isn't ruining the movie, but like, how is no one seeing this? I couldn't believe it.
And to go to your
point too with the girl. I didn't think of that one too, but
the what? Oh, the throwing the girl, right? Yeah. And you know what? I had to look this up too, because I don't want to be like, yo, am I being wild here? But like, I looked it up too, and you know who that girl was?
No,
she was Brenda Song.
No way.
Yeah, uncredited though. And I was out here being like, yo, am I wild? Am I just thinking that's just some like another Asian person? But I looked it up. And like, she's not credited, but like, I'm not the only. There's whole Reddit threads, and everyone's like, yeah, everyone says, like, yeah, that is Brenda Song, but she hasn't come out and said it. So like, I'm like, is it though? But they did side by sides. I'm like, nah, that's got to, unless there's someone else that looks exactly like her,
huh?
But I'm leaning on that.
I didn't really notice. I guess like in that scene, I'm mostly looking at Frost, and I'm not really looking at the girl. I'm like, okay, he has a girl hostage. I'm not looking at her face really, but I mean, if that's her, like. Sure,
to me, it was just
cool.
when he pulled her up, because he was like holding her by her face, right? So then we kind of got to zoom in of her face. I was like, I'm in movies. I don't know. I'm always like, is that somebody? Because I'm always looking like, is that someone when they were younger or something? And that like, and then like, oh, that person was in Blade, or that person was whatever. And I was like, huh, that kind of looks like.
So you're telling me that a famous hotel heiress was being held hostage in broad daylight, thrown into the road, and nobody noticed? Mr. Mosby wasn't there to save the day.
That's what I'm saying.
Or maybe
this is why I thought you would have caught it, because your fantasy name. I thought that would have been on mind. And then you would have been like, "Oh, that's London Tipton."
True. Hey, for the background for everybody, I drafted Evan Mobley into my fantasy, so my fantasy team name is Mr. Mobley at the Tipton. Just maybe Blade turns into Mr. Mosby. Maybe Mr. Mosby is a vampire hunter. You don't know.
Maybe. I like that lore. That's good lore.
Could be. You only see him during the day. Actually, there's episodes where it's like there's a night manager, right? He goes home at night. He's killing vampires.
True. That is true. He's a day walker.
Have you ever seen Blade and Mr. Mosby in the same room? I don't think so.
Maybe the twins are vampires. That's why he hates them so much.
Maybe. We don't really see them outside during the day. They're always in the hotel.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, we've unlocked a connection. You know, like when they have those crossover episodes with like Hannah Montana and Wizards of Waverly Place.
Have a crossover with Blade.
With Blade.
Hey, they almost overlap. They're in a close era. They're close.
I told you, bro. I told you. Well, I mean, Brenda Song's in both in it. There's the
Yeah,
timeline
there you
right
go.
there.
There's the cross.
There's the
100%.
cross.
Who knows? Who knows?
Okay. I think the ending, I mean, we don't have to talk about, I guess, the ending specifically, but like I thought like the way they explain the ending of like the ritual that they were going to do
Hmm.
and it's going to turn everyone to vampires, that confused me. I don't know if it
Hmm.
confused you too, but like I thought they did this ritual and then there would be like this mist that goes over the world and turns everyone into a vampire, but it just turned Frost into this like super vampire god.
Hmm.
Um and then there's like flying skeletons that emerge out of these people and like fly into, I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where like with the rewatch and obviously just being old and stuff, you're kind of just like okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're 100% right. I was like, okay, when this comes out, it's gonna be okay. Now everyone's gonna turn into vampire. It's gonna be a vampire world. That's what
Yeah.
he kind of like. It sounded like that's what he said. And then it was as we were getting closer, it's like, hey, we're all gonna be gods. Like that's what Quinn was saying. I was like, okay, so they're all gonna be part of it. And then it just happens to Frost, and there's no real mention of like, all right, now I'm gonna turn everyone else into vampire. It's kind of just like now he's just the blood god,
Blood god.
and they didn't really mention that anything got like messed up to
Right.
say like, oh, like now it's not gonna work, but at least I have my powers
No, I think it
because
worked the way it's supposed to. They just did a terrible job of explaining exactly what's going to happen.
my one question too, and it was almost like my Ferris Bueller, but it doesn't really fit into a Ferris Bueller of like the one dude that was kind of that got killed by the girl with like the blonde hair. I was like,
Okay.
do you remember when she killed him? She put a sword in him and like kicked him and he like, exploded.
Yeah.
My part of me was just like, do we not need him for this ritual? I thought we needed every single one of them. I was like, why would you kill someone before the ritual started?
Was he, because they needed 12 of the, like, what was the, like, apostles or whatever, like the members of that
Oh,
council.
I wrote them down. What was the name of their circle? It's just what were they called again?
I
The
don't know.
guard, the old guard.
The old guard. Maybe he wasn't a part. Maybe he was just like a right hand man. And we're just like, yeah, we don't
Why
need
was he
you.
there?
I don't know. I mean, there was a bunch of like people there that are like probably Blade security. Honestly, they're probably just there was a bunch of
Yeah, I
henchmen that
guess.
they're just there so that when Blade shows up, he has a bunch of people to kill before he gets to the bad guy.
I guess so. I
It's
don't
how
think they
these
actually
movies
even.
work.
I guess they didn't even say there was a number. Really, it was just like it showed like we need people around, and then we need Blade in the center, and then boom.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it was poorly communicated. But I mean, even when Frost figures it out, because he has this like system that's decrypting or translating the old text or whatever, and then it gives him like a 3D rendering of this ritual, and then there's this giant fat vampire that's like typing it into a
Yeah,
computer or
Pearl.
something. I'm just like, why is this guy here? What is his job? What is his role in the situation? Is he just there so that they can interrogate him to get this information? Like, what's going on? The story
See,
is not good in this movie.
I'm not too familiar with Blade's world, so I don't know if they just tried to incorporate everything that's in it. They're like, okay, well, we gotta
Maybe.
get Pearl in the movie. We gotta get Frost in the movie. We gotta talk about the gods, the old guard. It felt like they just tried to put all the Blade, but honestly, at that point when that movie came out, like there was the Marvel fans, obviously, and like the Blade fans that probably knew about Blade like that, but like I don't think anybody, not much people knew the lore. It's like, oh, it's crazy. They didn't put Pearl in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know if
How else would they have known that they needed 12 people for the ritual and gone into the downstairs Bible room and figured all that stuff out? Yeah. But I mean, it sounds like I'm being very negative on this movie because I'm being very negative to the story because those are the easiest
Mm.
things to talk about. But like the action in this movie is amazing. Like we should
Oh
just
yeah,
talk about the action, like especially that opening scene in the club. The blood starts like coming out of the sprinklers, and then the guy crawls to Blade's feet, and then we're just like, oh snap. And then he brings out this gun, he's shooting them, they just like disintegrate, takes the two stakes, pins Quinn to the wall, lights him on fire. They go to the hospital, he reanimates, another fighting scene. Like the action is wild in
yeah.
this
It's
movie.
insane. It's even when he has like the little what's it called? Like the I don't know what you call that kind of blade. Like the one that kind of like curves on both sides.
Oh
What do you
yeah,
call
it's
those?
like a
Like a throwing
batarang.
sword.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
don't
a
know.
throwing sword or whatever.
Sure.
It's like the funny where like he throws it and he catches it, like he smiles. That's some person. We got some personality from him a couple times, and where it almost feels like he's breaking character.
Okay, yeah.
Like when he's in the hospital and they shoot him, I'm like, have you lost your damn mind?
See, that stuff is great, man. Like in those moments, I'm like, yes, Wesley Snipes. Like, talk to them like they're idiots. This is what I'm talking about. Like, have some animation to your voice. Like, I get you're not gonna open up and be sentimental. That's not what Blade is. But like, when
Yeah.
you say something, say it like you mean it. Say it with your chest. Blade would say it with his chest.
Oh, 100%. 100%. There was one thing I thought was really interesting too, which I didn't know this, that was talking more about the action with like Wesley Snipes and like the martial arts in the movie.
Mm.
Like, did you like he actually did a lot of his own stunts? Like, I don't know if you saw that.
No, but it doesn't surprise me.
And like he actually has a background in martial arts. He's a 5th degree black belt in karate
Damn.
and a 2nd degree black belt in, I don't know what's it called, hamp keto is. I'm not familiar with that fighting style, but he's a 2nd degree in it, and he's also got a background in jiu-jitsu and kickboxing.
Damn. I did not
Yeah.
know he was doing all that. I mean, if you have a name like Wesley Snipes, I feel like you should get into some martial arts. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
a pretty
that's a dope ass name just in
amazing.
general.
That's fucking incredible.
Like, it sounds like a made up name. That's how dope
Literally.
it is.
That sounds like a stage name. Like, imagine you meet someone, hey, I'm Wesley Snipes. I'm just like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
That's what's your real name? Like, that's fucking amazing.
No, 100, yeah, that's a badass name, man. And
Like, I was built for stardom. Like, there's no way you're
oh
not a
yeah,
star with a name like that. There's no regular
100%.
person walking around like, hey, I'm Earl Stardust, and you're just like an accountant. Like, no, you're not. You're a rock star with a name like that.
That's so true. No, but like he started martial arts when he was like 12 years old, which is crazy. So
Mm.
I didn't realize that. And there was one line that I saw specifically because he had he had a big part because he co-produced the movie. So he had a big part
Mm-hmm.
in the shaping, like the coolness and like the groundedness, and obviously adding in that element, like really wanted to incorporate it in so as much martial arts as possible because that was from like his background, which I thought was interesting. I didn't realize he had that much influence on it. And there was a line that said that he wanted to be like this, like blaxploitation confidence mixed with the Hong Kong inspired choreography, which is an interesting take that I've never really heard before.
Oh, so he worked that into the fighting style.
Yeah, well, just like the confidence of the character, which to a certain extent, I was like, I kind of see the blaxploitation thing they're talking about a little bit, but to your point, the blaxploitation character would have had a little more like sass to them. You know what I mean? It would have been more of the "Are you your goddamn mind?" There would have been more of that.
Yeah, true.
We would have seen freaking Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown could have been
Yeah,
could have been Blade. You know, like
yeah.
she got it, bro. But I thought it was interesting that movie in itself, like, because I talked about how it's tough with now after we saw the Furious 2 talking about anything like Hong Kong or
Yeah.
martial arts. But when I think of that time, it's just an interesting time period of just like obviously like Bruce Lee and all those movies, but that was in Hollywood though. That was like those were movies, those were foreign movies. But when it came to the 90s, like, all right, we're gonna start doing this, and it's like we're getting that in Blade, we're getting that in The Matrix, we're getting that in Kill Bill. So like now it's coming over to the West where it's like, okay, like this kung fu stuff, like we're gonna start doing it like in our own style. And obviously years later we get John Wick and stuff like that. It's just interesting that style, how it's now it's just, and gun fu, which is kind of like that was like The Matrix and now turned into John Wick. But that whole style is just, it's like this interesting, like, yeah, like I said, this techno aesthetic that's kind of still lives.
I mean, very important to this movie because we've been shitting on the story a lot, but so like without great action, this movie would be horrible.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, what's really carrying it is, I mean, the characters are cool. I think the characters are kind of lovable. I think Frost is very cool. Like, he's very badass. He's very tough. Like, he's a great. I think he's actually a really good villain.
No, I do too.
I think it's a classic. I want vampires and I want to take over the world. And his performance is really good, I think, too. He's very scary almost. Like, you don't want to mess with this guy. But I mean, with the action is really what's carrying this movie. So Wesley Snipes bringing all those different fighting styles and stuff, like you said, being a co-producer on it. You know, I read that he tried a few times before this to get a Black Panther film going. He was really into that and wanted to do that. For whatever reason, it didn't work out a few times. But this one was the one that came across his desk, or like
Yeah.
he had the opportunity to do this one. Not sure why they went with Blade first. Not saying
Yeah,
they
I don't
should have
know.
done Black Panther first. I'm just
Yeah.
curious which one they went with, why they went with this one first. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he was obviously into the whole superhero thing and wanted to get a black superhero movie done. So he took charge with this one and adding all of those martial arts styles that he's comfortable with made this movie pretty sick.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's funny. There's no um there's no backing for this, for my thought for this, in the sense of like I didn't read it anywhere, but now as you're saying, maybe I'm just thinking of it was all timing, because like the way a lot of things work like in Hollywood, and I only really realized this like a couple of years ago when I saw someone make a video of like when the trends of things happen, like when something's hot, everyone tries to jump on it. Everyone's like, okay, people like seeing these movies, let's make these movies.
Yeah,
And at that time period, especially in the 90s, like there were already vampire movies from before this. Like we were getting Dracula and Nosferatu, but and then when those movies were coming out, those were coming in waves, because
yeah,
it was like, okay, people are into the Frankenstein movies and the vampire movies, and like it's kind of funny, we're getting into a second kind of wave of that kind of right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
especially with Frankenstein. There's been in the last couple of years, there's been like 3 different versions of Frankenstein, with like Poor Things. We're getting a Frankenstein that's coming out later. We're getting a movie called The Bride, and I
Mm,
think there's another Frankenstein movie that either came out or another one coming out. So like it happens in waves. But in the 90s specifically, there was a kind of like a resurgence with the vampire movies. Like Dusk Till Dawn came out, and then the Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a really big popular show in the 90s.
true.
And then Interview with the Vampire was a big movie with like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. And then maybe they were realizing, they're like, no, we shouldn't do like Black Panther. Do you have anything else that's like that we could do? It's like, oh, you have a vampire thing? Vampires are hot right now.
Yeah.
Let's do the vampire. I
Mm,
think that honestly could have been part of the reason.
yeah. No, yeah, that's a good point. You're probably right. I mean, we hadn't really seen any black superheroes on the big screen before this. Not that nothing that I can think of, anyways.
There was someone, but
Um,
they're kind of they didn't weren't successful.
yeah, yeah.
Like Spawn.
Oh,
Spawn was one
true.
of them,
Spawn.
but it wasn't that successful. There's Steel, which is Shaq as a superhero. I don't know if you've ever even heard of that.
No,
Yeah, that's how
Shaka did
well
a
it did.
superhero movie.
Yeah, Steel. It's a Marvel character called Steel.
When did that
He-
come out?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, I never even
Like
heard of that.
1994, I think. Let me search that up. I've
Okay.
seen it. It's not the best. I watched it as a
Okay.
kid, and I thought it wasn't the best.
Ooh.
Actually, it came out a year before Blade.
Oh,
It's
okay.
called Steel. Yeah, it's called Steel.
Okay, well then Wesley Snipes said there wasn't any good black representation in the superhero field, so he was like, okay, like, yeah, you're right. Black Panther wasn't working, but so if they were a bunch of vampire things that were hot at the time, they said, okay, we'll give you a shot on this. And like I said, it was a commercial success, and there was 2 more after this.
Yeah, they made 3 more. The second one
Yeah.
was actually directed by by Del Toro, as we were talking about him.
Oh, with the Frankenstein movie coming out in a
Yeah.
couple weeks. Interesting.
And then they made a third one. Ryan Reynolds was in it, and Triple H was actually in it. Triple H was a vampire in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did he pedigree someone?
I don't remember. I gotta go. I would probably have to go back and watch. I don't think he pedigreed. So
I feel
that
like
would
if you
have
get a
been
wrestler,
great.
yeah, if you get a wrestler, you got to use like a signature move or something.
No, that's true. No, 100%. I remember when John Cena was in an action movie, they actually had him doing like the FU one time. I was like, you
Yeah,
got to do it.
you got to,
gotta do
yeah,
it.
for sure.
Now I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go back and watch. I gotta go see if Triple H
Yeah,
did a
someone.
pedigree.
I think, or maybe he put blood in his mouth and spit it up
Oh,
in the air. That'd have been cool.
oh man, if they didn't do that, now I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, that would have been. That's
go.
probably. I'd rather that than a pedigree, honestly.
Yeah, no,
I feel
yeah,
like more
100%.
people know him for that than any of his moves.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, especially if you're just a casual, because everyone was just doing this, or like a suck it,
Oh,
which is all which is all
That'd be
brand for
good.
vampires. They are sucking blood, so
True. That is true. That was actually one question I had because, like,
about suck
this.
it or about
Well, no, about the sucking of the blood, because in this movie like we talk about the lore of the vampires. So they
Yeah.
suck blood, they feed on humans. So when they feed on a human, they turn, right? Like that doesn't kill the
So
human.
so this is goes back to the lore conversation, which I love
Yeah.
going into vampire lore. Like I got a whole thing on it because I was just trying to make sure I understood the difference of this lore versus like with other lores of different vampire movies. And this one, from what I understand, it's you can turn someone to a certain there's a certain line like where it's
Okay.
like if I drink their blood and like I stop, I don't like completely like go, like because he killed the cop and I was like, oh, is he
That's
turning
what
him?
that was my question. I
But
was
no,
like,
he was just killing him.
so he died.
Yeah, he died. There's a line though. It's like it's depending how much blood you drink from them, where it's like I'm only gonna
Oh.
drink this much. So now you're in like this in between state where like you now there's like this and everyone's different. They didn't really explain this one, so I don't know what it was. Like when I think of like True Blood, for example, it's like this whole process of like I'm gonna drink this much blood, then you gotta kind of bury them and they come back to life as a vampire. And this
Oh.
one, it seems kind of just like if I drink maybe like let's say half, just because I don't know what number. Let's say I drink half your blood, and then if I leave you, now you'll turn. But if I just drink once I pass that line, now I drank enough that like you're just gonna die because you have there's not enough blood in for you to live and you're not gonna turn.
Right. So like
That's what I took from it.
because that's what confused me because Karen in the hospital gets bit and he drinks some of her like Quinn drinks some of her
Quinn.
blood, runs away, and then she's like throughout the whole movie kind of through this like process where um Whistler keeps saying, oh, you got a couple days left, or you got 1 day left. You take this shot and it'll prolong it or something. But so like she's slowly turning, but then when he bites the cop, he just like falls into the pool and like it looked like he was dead. So I was like, what's the difference here? I just it was a little confusing.
No, it is confusing because I was watching, like I said, I was watching with Eloise and she turned me to the same thing. She's like, "Oh, are they?" It's like, "Oh, she's gonna turn him." Like, isn't this what he wanted? Like, don't these
Right.
kind of like simps want to be turned? And I
Yeah,
was
they were
like, "Yeah,
called
they, huh?"
what was the name of what they called those guys?
Oh, like this, like they're kind of like disciples almost, or like I forget what
Yeah,
he called them. Blade had like a derogatory term for them, I don't, but I don't actually know. I forget what they were called. What they called them,
yeah.
but
I'm looking through it, but I can't.
yeah,
I'm
I don't
not
remember.
seeing
Yeah, I
it.
don't remember. But yeah, no, I think at least what they established in this movie is like that there's just a specific line. Like when you think about if you go back to the Karen scene when she got bit, it wasn't long. It was kind of like he latched
No.
onto her from behind and then Blade kind of pulled through and he stopped. So like
Right.
it's almost like if you even just get bit, like if you just get bit by a vampire, if they just pierce skin, it's almost like a stinger. If the stinger
Yeah.
gets you, it's like boom, now your turn. That's it. And then everything else after maybe the blood drinking is just like whether they want to just drain you or because I don't know how long it takes for them to drain you. That's another thing too. Like, did he completely drain that cop? Is it that fast?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, but I really don't know.
There is no answer here. So.
No, yeah, I don't know.
Did you find the names of them or no?
No, I was kind of just looking through. I feel like it was like loyalists or something like that.
Yeah, I think that is. I think it actually is loyalist or something like that.
Something like that.
But I got one last thing on the. We were talking about the success of Blake. We were talking about how they made two more
Okay,
movies.
sure.
They also made like a TV show in 2006. That was on MTV. That was like an origins thing. So that show maybe gave more
Oh,
the questions, answered more of the questions that we were kind of wondering. And then in 2011, they made an animated series, which I actually do remember. They made not animated. Well, it was animated, but it was anime. Like it was a
hmm.
Japanese style kind of Blade show and that kind of sparked like something in me because I was like, that sounds so familiar. I feel like there was more Marvel things that are made into animes, and I looked it up, and like they made an X-Men anime, an Iron Man, and a Wolverine anime.
Oh wow,
Do you remember that?
not at all.
It came out in like 2011, and it was like a whole wave of like they just made a bunch of like animes. And they were living on Netflix. I remember seeing it. I was like, an Iron Man anime? I was like, that's kind of weird. I never
Huh.
watched it, but I just remember seeing them.
I mean, they always had animated shows. I'm guessing
But
these are
not
shows and not
anime. It
movies.
looks like anime. Like it
Right.
looks
No, no,
like
no. They
like
weren't. Yeah, they weren't
yeah,
anime. Like there was always like DC animated and Marvel animated, and
yeah.
they had their movies and their shows. But like the anime are they shows or movies?
Their shows.
Oh, yeah, I never, and on Netflix too. I thought maybe it was more Eastern, like you said, in Asia, like that it came out.
Yeah.
Or I mean, that doesn't mean it can't be accessible here, but maybe it was more popular over there. But no, I never even did not know that.
Yeah, but the Blade one looks cool. The animation looks cool, but yeah,
Yeah, I feel
that's
like
all I really had on the.
it works better. Like I feel like Wolverine that works well with
Yeah.
Wolverine. I feel like Blade works really well, and Iron Man. That's kind of
Yeah, that one was the weirdest. That's kind
I
of a
guess like the
stretch
way,
too.
well, like him shooting stuff out of his hand. That could be kind of anime
Yeah,
cool. That could be
like a
cool.
Dragon Ball Z type,
Yeah, basically.
like Kai Blast thing,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. No, that's true.
What I have a funny fact here actually. So Donald Logue, who plays
Mhm.
Quinn, he fell onto the floor in the hospital scene, like that we were just talking about when he fights
Yeah.
Karen, and dislodged his jaw. He had broken it years prior, so like opening his mouth too wide and too fast can like unhinge it.
Mhm.
Um, so they had to go to a real hospital, but he was dressed as a massive burn victim, right? And he was like basically naked, running with his jaw hanging down. So he said,
Oh my.
so they said people were like freaking the fuck out. Like when they got into the hospital, they were like, "What is this monster that is in here right now? Like, what the hell's going on?" But like overall, he was okay. He just needed his mouth fixed. But like, that's it. Could you imagine? That's
Oh
insane.
my gosh, terrifying. That would be absolutely terrifying. Yeah, there's always scary stories like that. When you see those, you hear those kind of stories. I would lose my mind. Be like, what is this, Mister
How is this
Popo
person
looking?
alive?
Yeah,
Like he's
yeah.
burnt to a crisp with his jaw hanging down, and like, yeah, that
That
would
sounds
I'd be like,
traumatizing.
that's yeah. I saw that. I was like, well, that sounds just terrifying. That's insane.
It's fun. I saw another funny behind this. Well, it's a another funny story too. Which I wish I could find where this exists. Apparently, Stan Lee had a cameo in this.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a cameo of him because it ties to what you were saying of discovering Quinn's burnt body,
Hmm.
and they cut it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Why? I mean, I guess that was before the era of him being in everything,
Right.
but I don't know why they couldn't. Why they couldn't give Stan a bone? Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's good. It's a great question. You're right. I mean, now I guess not now because he's dead now, but like for a while there, like once they started doing it, like it would just you couldn't have a Marvel movie without him.
He was
At
even
this,
making cameos in animated shows.
oh really?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you just couldn't have a project without him. It was just like a rite of passage, like a respect thing. Like you just had to have him in there. At this point, they hadn't really started that yet, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, if they filmed it, why not put it in?
That's what I'm saying. I guess you gotta if you got the DVD, maybe you can watch an deleted scenes, and that's probably one
Mm,
of them. And
yeah.
then you can see that's probably on YouTube or something like that. But no, I thought that was interesting. And since we're on the topic of Stan Lee, I had a whole thing just on like kind of like the legacy of Blade because we were talking about how it like Marvel at the time like they filed for bankruptcy like in 1996. So like that's when they did the
Mm,
selling of like we sold Spider-Man to Sony, selling X-Men to Fox, stuff like that, and like Blade was really that domino. Like we're talking now we're in this age of the superheroes and like we've gotten more depth and stuff like that. But it was the first domino like falling for Marvel that ended up slowly creeping up on DC, which had a massive lead with like
mm.
the success of like the Superman Reeves movies, then obviously the Keaton Batmans, and then obviously the Nolan Batmans. But Blade was the first domino of them slowly kind of like getting their way.
Hmm. And that yeah, that you could think about how influential that is because we're kind of past it now, but like Marvel was owned the movie theaters.
Oh yeah.
Like the run that they've been on, like we've already talked about it and everybody knows about it, but it was
Yeah.
just unreal. So if you think about if this movie was unsuccessful, maybe they pack it up. I guess they don't pack it up. Like they would see how well DC's doing and keep trying, but like yeah,
Well, to
they've
me, to a certain extent, well, yeah, like you said, yeah, probably not pack it up,
yeah.
but it just could have. I mean, who knows? Maybe because like it's tough to say. Like, but there's businesses that just like disappear because like maybe they just become irrelevant. Just like, hey, no one cares about these stories anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna keep trying to like maybe make these like what's it called, the Charlie Brown movie. Like people still all watch the old Charlie Browns, but they don't make new ones. Like the Looney
Yeah.
Tunes. they're not popping with like the young. They keep trying to make Looney Tune stuff, but like they don't. Sometimes things like further out. They live in a time, and maybe Marvel could have lived in a time. If Blade was unsuccessful, I don't think maybe like it was like, man, another movie superhero movie did bad. Is Fox gonna even try to make X-Men? Because they would have been like, man, people don't want to see these movies. Is Sony gonna even make the Spider-Man movie? They're like, let's just stick to like maybe TV shows and stuff like that. People don't want to watch these guys on the big screen. So maybe for Marvel at least, they would have just been like, yeah, like these people don't want to see these Marvel characters.
I mean, it's possible. You never know. It's alternate history, but
Yeah.
if you, I imagine if like Spider-Man, like the Raimi Spider-Man movies came out, those were a big hit. The X-Men movies were fun. Like they would see the success of those, and like you said, DC was doing well at the time. They would see the success of those and be like, okay, people want superhero movies. We're just not doing it right. And they would see all the like opportunity and like all of the like, look at all the money these movies are making. Like we got to get in on this.
Yeah.
Like they would. I feel like they would have kept trying.
Well, my thing is, I don't think that X-Men and Spider-Man, maybe they wouldn't have come out if Blade didn't do well. Because that was just 2 years before. That's really close, like knowledge of being like, okay, this Blade movie is successful. Let's start trying to work on these things that we just bought from them.
Right.
But if Blade came out and it bombed, they'd be like, that's another Marvel bomb. I don't think people care about these characters.
Yeah. You like we said, alternate history. We don't know.
Yeah, it is alternate history. But yeah, I just thought it was like an interesting point to think of, just considering just what it turned into. The powerhouse that is Disney now. It's not even Marvel. It's just Disney is the powerhouse.
True. Yeah, Disney owns
the mouse owns
now.
all.
Yeah, exactly. And will continue to own any piece of content. We'll get to a point where there is one monopoly.
Yeah.
Disney. But do you have anything else, Dion?
No, the only other thing I have is like a just note on the whole trench coat thing of just like that trench coat tech goth aesthetic. Because I actually wrote it and I was just like, we got it in Matrix, we got it in Underworld, which is another vampire movie. We got in Spawn, we got in Van Helsing. There's The Crow, and then shout out the Undertaker and Sting because they were wearing the long trench coats too. All the 90s. It was, I mean, well, Van Helsing was 2000s, but everything else is 90s. The trench coats had its moment.
Well, you say like, like characters and like types of movies have like, it's a cycle, and fashion is very much the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So like the era, the phase of punk and dark alternative, like trench coats was a thing, techno, yeah. Then it makes sense. But last week, I promised you a parlay.
Oh.
And here it is. I've built you another parlay, a 3-leg parlay this time, a quick one. All over unders for the movie Blade. And we'll see if you can hit on this parlay. You said you wanted to redeem yourself. See, this one's a little harder because you have to get all three.
That's fine. That's okay.
It's a challenge.
Last time I think I did very poorly. Like I want to redeem myself and at least you give me 3. I want to at least get 2.
Get 2.
I know parlay got to get everything to win, but
you know what I thought of too is like maybe because you'll know the answer, so you can like after you make your guesses or whatever, you can decide if you're based on your confidence level. Are you going to bet big, or are you going to bet like medium, or are you going to bet small? And,
okay.
Like, I mean, it's fake money, so you could bet big every time, but like just if it was your real money, you could add a little layer to it. Okay, so the first bet: how many times is the word garlic said in the movie? The over/under is 9.5.
I'm gonna go under.
Under 9.5. Okay.
Yeah.
How many times does someone lose a hand in the movie? Over/under.
Someone lose a hand.
3.5.
Oh. Okay, I'm just thinking about Quinn. And I'm trying to think, did anyone else lose hands? Like a lot of people got chopped up, but
I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, I know you don't want to say anything. I know Frost did. Over/under is 3.5, you said?
Yep.
I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over
3.5. Okay. And the last bet: how many vampires does Blade kill? Over/under 100.
Oh my goodness.
Does he kill more or less than 100 vampires in this movie?
I'm gonna go. the tough thing is like he beats up a lot of people. Not everyone's a vampire. Not everyone gets killed. I don't think
That's
there's some
true.
human. A lot of those dudes are humans that he fights too. They're just loyalists. So I'm gonna go under 100 because I don't remember over 100 exploding bodies. I mean, there's a lot. And
Yeah.
the club scene was throwing me off because there was a lot in there.
That's the
But
one. That's the one. That's the
yeah,
biggest one, like for sure. The club scene at the start.
I'm gonna go under.
You take an under.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you betting? You betting big? You bet you betting small? Or how confident
Now
are
I'm
you?
going smalls.
A small little bet.
I'm going smalls. Yeah, I'm only putting a couple chips in. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
feel that confident.
Well, good choice because you did not hit on your parlay,
Ah.
but you achieved your goal of 2 out of 3.
Hey, let's
Yeah.
go.
So how many times is the word garlic said? You took under 9.5. The answer is 6.
Yes.
6
Yeah, I knew it
times
wasn't
they
that
say the word
much.
garlic. Okay. I try to be
No,
close on
I
the
mean,
over under.
I knew. I'm
Fuck me,
saying
I
I knew
guess.
it because that's what I picked. So yeah,
I guess
but
so. Yeah, that's an easy one.
but also part of me was like, I wasn't feeling great about that because I'm like, they do say garlic a lot though, just because
Yeah.
like the serum is just
Yeah.
vampires, like. So I wasn't that confident, but I also am going to say I knew it.
Yeah. Knew it. Easy. How many times does someone lose a hand? You took the over 3.5. You are correct. The answer is 4.
Yes.
So Quinn loses a hand twice.
Mm.
Poor Quinn. And then there's a henchman that holds Blade's sword. And remember, he has the thing that like
Oh
the
yeah,
prongs like pop out of it. He holds his
yeah.
sword, and then his hand like explodes.
Mm.
See,
That's
this is
good.
why this is why I had to word it like how many times does someone lose a hand, not how many hands get cut off, because that one is.
Yeah.
And then Frost at the end, yeah, his hand gets cut off,
Mhm.
and then he just regrows it right away because he's the blood god.
Yeah. I mean that was a good one. That one I felt pretty confident in. It was just the fourth one to
Exactly.
make
That's
because
why
I
I
was
said
like,
at 3.5. I was like, he's
yeah.
not. Is he gonna remember that last one?
And I didn't, but I was just banking off. I was like, someone's gotta had something chopped off. I actually completely forgot about that one. I just knew
Yeah.
of 3. I was like, let me just be safe here. And then
Yeah.
the last one, damn it, man.
Yeah, the last one you were not correct. He killed over 100 vampires. I asked ChatGPT, and basically it's like, oh, there's a lot of debate online, but it's somewhere between 120 and 130,
Damn.
with almost like 80 of them coming in that club scene.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
He's wrecking vampires in that scene.
Yeah, he really is. It's tough to keep track of after that though,
Oh
because
my
I was
god,
already
yeah.
assuming I was like, there was definitely a lot. Then throughout the rest of the movie, I'm like, there's just a lot of fighting, and I was like, it would go from scene to scene where one would be a human, one would be a vampire, and I was like, okay, I just took a
Yeah,
shot in the dark.
it's
Man,
hard
I
to
almost
tell
got it.
exactly like who's a vampire and who's not. Because sometimes you're right. Like, but do they explode every time? Like, do they disintegrate every time they die?
I think it's only if the silver gets put in them what
Mm.
makes them explode. So if it kills them in another way, then they wouldn't. But that's the only way you kill them. So
Yeah, or stake to the heart. No, but that
yeah,
disintegrates them too. Fire doesn't work. We know that one now.
no, fire doesn't work.
We know that.
He was
Yeah.
messing with Quinn. You just putting him through it. Because so many times you could just kill
I
him.
know. Cuts his hand off and pushes his face into the moving train. Like, what the hell, man? He's just playing with Quinn just to be an ass. That's like almost like the way Frost kills the leader of the council.
Oh
They all
yeah.
go out, they put their sunscreen on, whatever,
Mm.
and they just like leave him there to burst into the flames as the sun's coming up. That was nasty.
Yeah, that was nasty.
But at the same time, like that whole plot line, that subplot with that guy, it felt so useless to me.
Oh, it wasn't. I know it definitely could have been.
What's his
There could have been
name?
that could have added more to it because it was like, why does Frost hate this guy? Why does that guy not like Frost? And it's kind of just like, there's definitely an underlying thing. Like maybe give me a flashback or like a couple moments of why they don't like each other. Maybe Frost undermining him at meetings and stuff like that.
I
I
mean,
don't
there's
know.
one moment in the meeting where because after the club scene when Blade kills everyone, they're like, Frost, your clubs are irresponsible. They're dangerous. People will find out about us, and we have this deal with politicians that we can work in the shadows and blah blah blah. But literally one line, and then like he shows up a couple times, and Frost like bitch slaps him, and then kills him. And we're just like, Okay, I can. So now Frost can keep doing what he's doing. Like it's very useless. But
But I didn't get my parlay, unfortunately. But the next
you were
time,
close. 2 out of
improvement.
3. Yeah, like you said, that was your. If your goal was 2 out of 3, you achieved that. Well, time for the filmies then, I guess, huh?
Time for the filmies. Yes. Yes, it's that time of the show. It's time for the filmies. If you're new to the show, this is a part of the show. Scott talked about it earlier. We give out 6 awards to the movie we just watched. And the first award that we have is our Ferris Bueller Award. And the Ferris Bueller Award is AKA our Lazy Award. Goes out to something or someone that happened in the movie that we deemed as lazy. Could be a writer, director, actor, anybody that's involved with the movie. Something that happened that didn't necessarily ruin the movie, but usually something funny that we wanted to point out. So, Scott, who gets your Ferris Bueller Award?
I gave mine to Whistler, Blade's right hand man.
Yeah.
And I actually have an honorary, but I want to let you go first because I don't want to steal it from you if it's yours. But
Okay.
so my award goes to Whistler, and it's for lighting a cigarette before gassing up the car. Like he spills gas all over the place. Like he starts the pump and then puts it in the car. So there's gas being spilt all over the place. And then he lights a cigarette, and I'm like, I mean, come on, bro. This was very like on purpose. Like they made sure the director was
Yeah.
like, I want you to pour gas all over the place and then light a cigarette. I don't know why this was like, is this a joke they're playing or something, or to show that he's irresponsible? But like, come on, bro.
Yeah, no, I had the exact same point. Like, I was exact same thoughts, sorry, where I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, I almost didn't want to believe. I was like, that's not gas, that's water or something. Like, there's no way he's being that. He just took the gas is still not even back in the pump yet, and he's already lighting up. Like,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
just like so irresponsible. Come on, have some. That's lazy. That's lazy. You're maybe take a couple steps back. He's like,
Oh
no,
my
I'm just gonna
god,
sit right here and light up my cigarette. So he gets my lazy award.
that's a very it's very well, and I'm curious to hear your honorary too. I don't
Do you want
think
me
it's
to say
gonna
it
be the
now, or do you want to
same.
go for it? Okay.
But I'm
Um.
still gonna say mine just in case it is, but I don't think it
Okay.
is.
Okay.
But maybe it is. So maybe I'll just say mine. My Ferris Bueller, it goes to the old guard.
Okay.
So I'm grouping them kind of as a collective, and it's
Sure.
honestly for multiple reasons. The first one is not as much like, first of all, not really fighting back during the whole like temple thing.
Mm.
Like there's not much pushback. Your alternative of not fighting back is you're gonna die anyway. So
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know
gonna
why
have
they
a
were just kind of just like
skull
accepting
bird
it.
just emerge from your face.
But my real reason is for them not really looking into what Frost is doing and kind of like looking into the temple and seeing if like all that what he's saying kind of exists. You know what I mean? Like their
Yeah.
whole thing was like, oh, that's an old fairy tale. But like, you know what else is an old fairy tale? Vampires.
Yeah.
So I don't like this goes to our whole point about like people shitting on the lore, but like, oh, you thought garlic that doesn't work on us. That's stupid shit. I'm like, dog, you're a vampire. Like, look, like, who cares? Like, look into it.
Yeah, I mean that, but there was the whole thing that they had this book that no one could read, right? But he somehow had this AI
Yeah.
program that could do it, translate it or something. So like, because the leader of the council, I have his name, Gitano is his name.
Mhm.
He walks in on Frost while he's like deciphering this, and he's chilling and sitting on the ground listening to music. And it's happening right in front of your face. Like, just look at the screen. You can see
Yeah.
what he's doing. That's a good point.
Very lazy. That's what I'm saying. Not looking into it because literally, when they show the screen, you see it decoding and there's words popping up on the
Yeah.
right hand side turning it into English. Like, dog, just look at the screen. Literally,
you're in
that's
the room.
lazy.
Yeah. I like it. That's a good one.
Thank you. Was that your honorary?
No, it's not my
Okay.
honor. Mine is a very small one. So it's right at the start of the movie, like the very first shot of the movie is this girl who's a vampire driving this guy who's a human to the club, right?
Yeah.
And then they walk into like this meat packing factory and they make out a little bit. So like they're dating, I guess.
Yeah,
She
I
even like
guess. Yeah.
grabs at his piece in the car and everything. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, they're together. She walks into the club and she's hands him her jacket. He
Mhm.
just takes it and throws it on the ground. It's like, what the hell, man? Like, you walk into a club and your girl hands you her jacket, you can't just toss it on the ground.
I didn't even catch that.
I was laser focused to start this movie. He literally just turns around and chucks it. I was like, okay. I mean, that's literally just laziness.
Yeah, that's good. No, that's good.
So he got my order, but Whistler lighting up with the gasoline right beside him, I couldn't let that go unpunished.
Yeah,
so.
no, that needed to be mentioned. That was ridiculous. The next award we have is our fit check. So pretty self-explanatory. What was your favorite fit from the movie?
My favorite fit goes to Mercury. Had to look that
Mhm.
up. That is the one of Frost's girls, like the girl vampire.
Yeah, yeah,
The one at the end, and that's when the fit is like at the ritual at the end.
yeah.
She's got a crazy fit on. She got the white dress. Everyone's wearing like a suit, basically, like a classic
Mhm.
suit. She got a white dress. She got a white fur coat over top,
Yeah,
slick
the
back
coat's hard.
hair. And I can even add, because she takes Blade's sword. So when she has the sword, I say that's part of the fit. So she
Yeah.
looks hard, white dress, white fur coat, slick back hair, and like a katana. Crazy.
No, that's hard. And honestly, that was initially going to be my fit, but I ended up changing it last minute just because. And this was a lot to do with Eloise because she kept pointing it out to me, and I was like, "Yeah, I can't get past that." Like her slick back ramen noodle Dolph Ziggler looking ass hair.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't. It's not. It technically isn't part of the fit, but it was just like I just can't. I can't give an award to. The jacket was hard though. That's why I wanted to give it
Yeah.
to the puffy coat because I like that. But I was like, nah, the hair is. I'm not messing with the hair.
I can't blame you for that. It wasn't slick back like brushed. It was clear.
No,
It was in like chunks. Chunks is not the right word, but like it was not. It wasn't clean. But I
no,
feel like
I
that
say
also.
chunks.
But I feel like that fits the aesthetic of like this underground alternative gothic, like
Yeah.
a little dingy. I feel like it
No, that's
works.
fair.
She's a
She had better
vampire.
hairstyles throughout though. I feel like she had very bleach blonde hair, but
Yes. Yeah.
I just wasn't messing with it. That was
That's
my only
fair.
thing. But
That's fair.
I still like your fit for that. But I the only reason I do it is just because the hair was doing too much for me.
That's fair. That's fair. What's
Yeah,
yours then?
and mine I gave it to Blade.
Mm,
Just
classic.
like this, just for the it's his iconic look. I always
Yep.
kind of feel weird giving like when it's the superhero giving them just their superhero look. It's like if I pick Superman, it's like I like Superman's suit. I'm like, yeah, the suit he wears all the time.
Yeah.
But
Hey, if it's
yeah,
hard, it's hard.
yeah. I mean, I liked it. I mean, it's the tech. Like we talking about the trench coat. Sorry, the molded chest like plating, like body armor, the black gloves, the combat boots. It's just a tough look.
Yeah, I mean, when you see that guy in the club, you're like, holy shit, that's Blade. And you know that guy's a problem because it's a tough look.
Exactly, man.
And the
Hundred
sunglasses?
percent. Yeah, the sunglasses. Literally, like when I see that trench coat kind of look, it's kind of tired for me because if I ever saw someone on Halloween, and I get regardless of the race, if I saw someone in a trench coat and all black and glasses, I'd be like, damn, I don't know if you're Neo or Blade.
Yeah.
If you're a black dude, I'm probably gonna guess you're Blade. If you're a white dude, I'll guess you're Neo because they could that's the thing, right? Because it's just like, well, I assume you're probably doing the thing that's of your race, but it could be either one.
Yeah. It just depends if they have a sword. Does Neo ever use a
Yeah.
sword?
No, I don't think he does.
No, I don't think he does.
He's just doing hand to hand combat. So yeah, the sword would be a big giveaway.
Yeah. If he has
And
a
then if you're
sword.
really committing and you're doing the Blade haircut, then that's a dead
True.
giveaway.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I ended up giving it to Blade because I don't know the fit's tough. It's iconic with the character for me.
Yeah. No, good pick. No complaints.
Next award we have is another self-explanatory award. Is the quote. So, what was your favorite quote from the movie?
I gave it to Frost, and it's
Mm.
when he's talking to Karen, when she's like talking shit to him. She's like, you have a scar. That means you weren't regenerated at birth. That just means you're just infected, a disease. And he says, I'll tell you what you, Jesus Christ. I'll tell you what we are, sister. We're the top of the fucking food chain. The blood god's coming. And after tonight, You people are fucking history.
Mm,
Tough. Like,
that is tough.
like when he said that, and like just the way he like he leans forward in his chair, right? He was leaned back, like smoking a cigarette, chilling while she's talking shit. He like leans up, like gets right in her face and yells that. I was like, that's a villain. Hell yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I was
I mean,
a great
honestly,
villain.
I thought you were giving it to Karen because even what she was saying was pretty hard too.
True. She was she was I mean, it worked. It got under his skin.
Yeah.
Got under his skin.
But no, but Frost's comeback was crazy. It's like, oh snap! He's not playing around.
Yeah, we're at the top of the fucking food chain.
and like you said earlier, and just now too, he's a good villain.
He is. He absolutely. That's what I mean. Like if there was even a little bit more of him like pulling strings in the background, like either against the wishes of the council or just showing how all the cops and all the politicians, everything in his pocket. He could have been even more menacing, just showing how much control he has. But he's up in a penthouse and like he's walking in and everyone's looking at him. The girls are touching him. Like he's just exuding aura.
Yeah, no, 100%. And even just like that scene he had was just like the whole like the way they handled Whistler and everything, just beating on him and like him deciding not to actually kill him and just stomp on his face was so uncomfortable. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, and then walk away, be like, all right, do what you got to do. Like,
yeah,
you guys will handle what we actually have to do. I just want to stomp his face in because I'm pissed.
Yeah, the way he's something else. But no, that's a good quote. I ended up giving my quote again to Blade. Blade's getting a second award here. And there's a couple good quotables. I didn't go with the classics. I'm sure you know which the most which I almost did just because I was like, it's such a memorable quote. But I am going with another one that also stuck with me, and it's when he's talking to Karen. Okay. And he says, "You better wake up. The world you live in is just sugar-coated topping. There's another world beneath it, the real world. If you want to survive, you better pull the trigger."
That was tough.
I thought that was dope. Yeah,
that was tough. Yeah, like you can't be hesitating because like that's when the cop runs away, right? And she's like, "Oh, I can't kill someone." He's like, "If you want to live, you better pull that trigger." Yeah, tough.
Exactly. No, you're discovering this new world. It's like you can't act like the way you were before. Now you got, and then now she does switch up pretty quick. What she does to Pearl later on, I'm like, I thought he had to tell you to pull the trigger before. Now you're just torturing someone.
Yeah, she's lighting the UV light. Then Blade has to go somewhere. He's like, if he moves, torch him. And then he moves an inch. And she like lights him up and Blade comes back. He's like, what the hell? She's like, he moved.
Which is crazy. I'm like, all right, she's just a psychopath now.
Hey, she took the Blade's advice. I mean, and she's in it now, right? He even told her, he's like, now that you've been bit, you're marked. Like, you're in it now. Like, you can't, there's no going back. So you either pull the trigger or get out of town. He literally tells her to leave.
That's very true. Next award we have is our 6-man, aka our Peyton Pritchard Award. So someone that showed out in their small moment in the movie. Could be, again, writer, director, actor. Well, not necessarily them, but just someone who showed out in a smaller role that's usually not end up being like the main lead and stuff like that. Director, writer. We usually stay away from those. We're aka our Peyton Pritchard Award. So who gets your 6-man, Scott?
I went very small on this one. I gave my 6-man to Joy Zapata.
Okay. Who
is the hair department head.
Oh.
I looked up, there was actually a bunch of like hairstylists credited. So I don't know who to pick. So I just went with her because she's listed as a hair department head. I mean, there's a bunch of great haircuts in this movie. There's Blade, of course. He's got the flat top with the designs all around the back of his head. There's also Cam, who's the guy in the pawn shop. When Blade shows up, right, he gives him all the watches. And he gets like serum from him and stuff. It's just one scene with him, but he had like starter twists in a grid and then designs around the back. I like crazy haircut. And then one of the vampire elders, like the people in the council with like the triple beard, like he had 3 prongs to his beard and like tattoos on his head. The hair department was just going crazy on this movie. So I gave my sixth man to Joy Zapata.
That's actually really good because now that you mention it as you went through them all too, there definitely does need to be some love for that.
Yeah.
Because
I
even
mean,
like
maybe.
you mentioned too, like Quinn with the subtle thing, like Quinn felt like he had a different hairstyle every scene.
Yeah, true.
Like sometimes he had long hair. One scene he had like the double braided up, and then one scene he had just like a bunch of braids mixed in with just like the hair down. Like he was all over the place with his hair.
True. Yeah. I mean, and for him, right? He got one of them is all of his hair got burnt off, so he had to do
Yeah.
something new with it. But I mean, maybe you wouldn't take away a point for them because of Mercury's hair, slick back.
Yeah, that was
it wasn't.
That was my only thing. As you said, the hair department, I was like, you better not say Mercury. I don't want to be your starting point.
No, but I mean, Blade's hair is crazy, and like I said, the guy in the pawn shop, that haircut was nuts.
No, I agree. I like that six. That's a good six man.
Who's yours?
I didn't go as small.
That's okay.
I was almost debating if he even is a six man, but I gave it to Quinn.
To Quinn, okay.
Yeah, just because I wasn't sure if he was in it enough. Like, because the way I was looking at it is my justification of it, which is always funny when we justify our own awards, but
yeah,
our own award show.
Exactly.
But I'd honestly love if someone debated us and be like, "Yo, that's not a six man." So if you don't agree as a six man, or you ever think we're like, "Nah, that's not a six man," please comment. I'd love to hear you like debate us on our own awards because that's just funny.
The validity of the award. Yeah, if you're very passionate about the integrity of the Filmies, then you fight Dion on the. No, I think it's fair because I feel like you couldn't give it to Wesley Snipes, Frost, writer director. Karen.
I don't think I could give it to Karen.
Yeah, I couldn't give it to Karen because I mean, Quinn is Frost's like right hand man, so he's like if Frost is a starter, then Quinn is his sixth man.
Yeah, my justification of it is like we just don't. There's no depth to him. Like there's not a lot of depth to a lot of characters. But I just mean more so in the sense like we don't know anything about him. Like we at least know what Frost wants. We know Karen where she came from and what's happening to her. Whistler, we know there's a relationship between him and Blade. And like Quinn, we don't know anything. He's just a right hand man. It's not like he's like, oh man, like I'm doing this for my kid or like I just want to do this because, we don't know how he got turned. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know anything about him.
True.
He just shows up and he's just comedic.
Yeah, literally. Actually, I read that Donald Logue, who plays him, they actually, like, he wasn't supposed to be that comedic, but he was just so funny on set that they let him just ad-lib a bunch.
No, I mean, it worked. Like that's to me, he was the perfect foil for Blade because Blade was so serious.
True. Good point.
And he was just like complete opposite. He was just always joking around. It's kind of like definitely not. It didn't work as well as this, but it's the whole Batman and Joker approach,
right?
Where one is just so ridiculous and the other person is always just going to be serious whenever they interact.
Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't think of it that way. Like the putting them against each other and just like the whole polar opposites of what they are. Why that being like why it works. But you're right. That's a really good point.
Well,
it just works.
I really do think it just works. And he had one line that just killed me. It's just like when he was telling them how they're going to be gods. And it was almost my quote because it actually made me laugh when he's like, I'm going to be naughty. I'm going to be a naughty vampire god. It's just so stupid.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, but that's why I was laughing. I was like, what the hell is that even so stupid? But I was like, this guy is he's just great, man. And it's just the whole limbs bit. And like all the time, it's just like Blade is like, oh, like my arm finally grown back, and then another thing gets cut off or whatever, and then
all these funny when he shows it to Blade. He's like, look, I got it back. Screw you. That's funny. Yeah, good pick.
Yeah, so I had to give it to Quinn for that. Just he ended up being my sixth man.
Nice.
And second, but certainly not or second last, sorry, is the best scene. So another self-explanatory award. What was your favorite scene from the movie?
My best scene is the club scene, the opening club scene. I mean, it starts off with hell of a bang. When I think of this movie, I think of that scene. It's the slow build up with like the human guy that doesn't know, right? Like he's just in the car with this girl. He's like, this girl's crazy. They go into like a meat factory. He's like, what the hell is even what's going on here? And then she makes out with him. They go into the club, and then he's like, oh, okay, like this is cool. He's dancing with people. Everyone's kind of pushing him around. Doesn't really like him. So it's just a slow build. Like we're that guy. We just don't know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
The alternative and like dark and grungy feel. It just like the music, the techno music. Then the blood shower starts. He starts freaking out. And then we get a dope Blade reveal. He goes right to his feet. The camera pans up, and we just see Blade standing like a badass. And then just some absolutely incredible vampire kills with them like disintegrating. He's shooting them, the stakes, the fire. It's just absolutely insane action. And you start the movie with this, and you're just like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like I'm into this. This is fucking fantastic. And the way they're all like disintegrating, falling apart, you're like, okay, this is what the vampires do. You're telling us about them through the action. So good. So memorable.
Oh yeah, no, it's. I 100% agree. I was that was ended up being my best scene, unfortunately, but it was definitely in contention with my other scene I liked. But like you said, that opening scene is just so memorable, and just the reveal of that,
Yeah.
like you said, like that's a big part of it too. That just hypes it up for you, especially for like a first time viewer. You're like, okay, this is Blade, and that slow pan up, you're like, okay, this guy's a big deal.
Yeah. And like you said, when he shows up, they all freak out.
Yeah,
Like he's standing in the middle of the room, so I don't know how they didn't find out until then, but like it's the movie thing. We find out at the same time, so they find out at the same time as
yeah,
us, and they're just like, oh, it's Blade. And then Quinn stands up and is like, oh, go get him. And then obviously he dispatches of all of them while the blood is just spraying down. The strobe lights are going crazy. The music is blasting, and it's just fantastic stuff.
yeah. No, that's always the real build up to like the perfect way to build up your character too. Just because this isn't like a thing where it's like two security guys and they're just like, oh snap, it's Blade. It's literally a room full of people and they're all still afraid. That like
True.
really emphasizes like, damn, there's like 30 of you here and you're still afraid of one guy.
And yeah, that's a good point. And they almost have more credibility too because we just found out they're vampires. Like I said,
Yeah.
we were with the human guy and he's freaking out. Why did this girl even bring him? Like, were they all going to eat him? I don't
That's what I
actually know.
assume.
Yeah, maybe somebody brings one human every time so they can feed
Eat.
off of this guy. But so when we start to see like their teeth come out and they're all like biting at him, basically, like snapping at him, we're like, oh snap, these are vampires. I mean, I guess you kind of know going in what the movie is, but like it's still just like a menacing thing, and you're like, oh snap, these are like undead vampires, and they're all freaking out because of this dude. He's a problem.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And then he proves immediately why.
Oh yeah, just ultimate badass. It's nuts. That's a great scene. The scene I went with is it's another Blade fighting scene, but to me it's the first fight after he's finished like feeding off of Karen, like kind of when he kind of gets like resurrected basically.
Yeah,
and he's just like he hops in, he gets into the room, he just screams Frost, and then it's just and then it goes to my point of why Quinn was my sixth fan, because I liked him and I was upset when he died because Quinn comes in, he's like, hey look, he's like, I got your sunglasses, and he comes over and Blade kills him in like 2 seconds and then just catches the sunglasses, puts them back on.
That was tough. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
I mean, him coming in yelling Frost, like it's kind of like Thor coming into Wakanda, and like, bring me Thanos, and you're just you just get up in your chair, you're just juiced up, you start flexing, you're ready to fight somebody, even though you're sitting in a movie theater or on your couch or whatever. But like Blade being resurrected too, because he's feeding on Karen, and I wasn't sure what was gonna happen to her too, because she's like, I mean, I'd seen this movie, but not for so long that I couldn't really remember. And she's like, "Oh, like stop!" Like she keeps telling him to stop. Like you're going too far. Like you're taking too much blood.
No, she said,
like,
"Don't stop."
Oh, is that what she said?
Yeah, I said, "Don't stop."
Oh, never mind. I was reading the scene completely completely wrong. Whoops. She was getting freaky with Blade. Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was incorrect.
No, it's all good. And then the odd part to that too is just the hand-to-hand combat. that was going on, because at that point he didn't have a sword either. So then he was just going. That's when he got to show off all his martial arts background that we now found out that he had.
True.
And that last part when he finally beats the last guy, and then he grabs the scene and we get the pose. He grabs the sword, turns it, and like he's like flexing. That was just, and then and that's when
Cherry on
Frost comes
top.
through. I'm like, oh, this is hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is like what it's a classic superhero. Like it's cookie cutter. That's what we've been saying,
Yeah.
right? Like this is what you get. You get the classic final conflict with your bad guy and all, he's got to fight all of the goons first, right? Got to kill the right hand man, got to kill Quinn. I didn't expect him to go that quick.
No, I
But
did. I mean, I think that's what adds to it too. It's like, oh snap! Like I think it's like, oh, he's serious now. You know, before he'd always like mess with Quinn, whatever. Like he doesn't really fully kill him, and now it's just like you kill Quinn in 2 seconds. You're like, oh, all right, this is a different gear.
yeah. Yeah, true. And then I mean it's a cool fight too with Frost too, because we don't know exactly what his powers are. We know that he's
Yeah,
stronger, and then he shows up to Blade and he basically teleports a couple times. So we're like, okay, so he's fast. So he's faster, and Blade cuts off his hand and he just regrows it, and we're just like, oh snap, this guy's and his eyes are like red
oh
now.
yeah.
Tough.
He basically turned into Majin Buu.
Yeah, basically.
It's like you cut Majin Buu and he just comes right back. You know what I mean? It's just like, what do we do to this guy? Like this is Majin Buu versus Goku at the like final fight. You know, this is basically what that is.
With a sword.
Yeah,
With
with a
both of them
sword,
with
basically.
swords.
Yeah, no, that's true. And yeah, they threw that part in there too. Like we got to get a sword fight in here, and like, no, I really like that scene. It was,
It's a fun scene.
and he must pose. You know, like that. That was another element you're saying too. It's very like classic, where it's just like how he gets his sword and he pose. Like, why did he pose? Because it's a movie and we need
Because
him
he knew
to
the
pose.
camera was on him.
Exactly. Last but certainly not least, we got our MVP. So who gets your MVP, Scott, for Blade?
I gave mine to Stephen Dorff, who plays Frost. I thought it was a fantastic performance, great villain. The character was just a true villain. Like there was no
Yeah.
redeeming qualities to this guy. He was very arrogant, very powerful, and that came through, I think, in the performance. Well, I guess that's how you get those cues. You get the
Yeah.
arrogance from the way he carries himself. He's sitting in the council meeting and he's like leaning back in the chair and he doesn't care. He's sitting while that language is being decoded and he's listening to
Mhm.
music. That guy's like, Frost, I'm talking to you. And he just gets up slowly, slaps him in the face. I'm just like, okay, yeah, this guy's unhinged. He just demanded attention, like on screen. Like even in my
Yeah.
favorite quote, like when he steps up and like shouts at you, I'm just like, I step back in my chair. I was like, I feel like he just hit me in the chest with it. Like when he was on screen, like you're looking at him. It was a great performance.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And we were talking about it before. And it's funny, even though we kept mentioning it, I didn't think that was going to be MVP. Not even saying that he shouldn't be, but for a reason that wasn't like an inkling of like, yeah, where we've both been talking about how great of a villain he was.
Mhm.
I wasn't sure if you were going to actually have him as your MVP, but he's well deserved because, like you said, it's a great villain. I 100%
Yeah, I mean,
agree.
there's different. Obviously, you can go different directions based on what you
Yeah.
liked most about the movie, or if you
No,
sometimes
exactly.
too, I just want to go like, this is truly the MVP of the movie because like this person was reaching out to like get the project going and they
Yeah.
starred in it, and you know what I mean, like stuff like that. But like sometimes I just take the award and like whoever jumped out at me on screen, I'm giving it to, and he jumped out at me.
Yeah, no, it's completely well deserved. He was great. He was great in that performance. I didn't go that route, which is why I just wanted I was giving him some love before because I didn't end up giving my MVP, but I definitely thought he should get some love for his performance. But I ended up going with Wesley Snipes,
Okay.
and I was just like, we kind of talked about the movie. Like I thought like he had like that stoic, like charismatic charm to him. I do agree to a certain extent that maybe there could have been more punch in some of the lines, but some of the lines I think still just hit. Like I think they worked. Even the like when you talk that line we talked about earlier, where you're saying that there's other things you should worry about, like me, and even
Yeah.
just the classic line, which is just it's a classic line because it's just so left field because no one says it. Like people say that it's like finding a needle in a haystack. No one really says like motherfuckers always trying to ski uphill. That was never a saying ever.
No, no.
Yeah, but he said it, and now it's just become a staple because it's just so left field. Like, what the hell does that?
Yeah.
Who says that?
Yeah, that's a funny one. And like I said, his physical acting was phenomenal. So
Yeah. And that was me. That was with me. Like that was my point on it too. And just like to learn that he had so much input on the character, which I didn't really know, of just adding that kind of like that martial arts element. And there was like pushback of, again, like it is campy kind of in its own way, but it's not campy in the sense of like go back and watch, which I still like those movies. But like when Dr. Freeze is Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dr. Freeze, and like the Riddler is Jim Carrey, like that's another kind of campy
yeah,
like a movie, that like a superhero movie, which is still enjoyable. But like this one is not that kind of movie. Like the tone is such a different shift from the other like 90s what's it called, superhero movies that we were seeing around that time, where we're like, oh, this is rated R too. Like, okay, we're really going on a different way with this movie. And I mentioned how as a kid I hadn't discovered Teen Titans yet, so I didn't see Cyborg. Static Shock hadn't come out yet. The Green Lantern I wasn't really resonating with, and kind of those guys like Cyborg and Green Lantern, for example, they're kind of like side dudes anyway. They weren't really like main focused characters. But Blade was the first time I saw like for me a main focused, and I hadn't found Black Panther yet, but a main black lead character. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm like, wait, that dude's a superhero. And I was like, so as a kid, I was like, that's really dope. So I just wanted to give it for that because again, he pushed so hard to try to get this character to be what it was, and so I gave him my MVP for that.
So he gets the award because he's black.
Yeah,
DEI MVP. That's crazy.
exactly. Cut everything else I say. Just be like, just okay. Do this. I'm gonna give it to Wesley Snipes because he's black.
DEI.
No, not even DEI.
Oh,
and just cut
man.
everything else I said. That's the reason he got my MVP.
I didn't hear anything else he said. I just heard he's black, so go. No, I mean, I think, like I said, like you kind of go the direction of like most valuable because, like you said, he co-produced, so like he was instrumental in getting the project off the ground. You know, pushing for it. I mentioned that he was trying to get a Black Panther one going before. You know, I don't know if he was like, I just wanted to have a black superhero for, you know, representation,
Yeah.
or I like superheroes and I haven't seen one, so I'm in the position that I can do that.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't really care if it was Blade or Black Panther.
Yeah.
But the fact that he got one to happen and the culture then showed out and made this a success is big, and it led to more. And so all of those are reasons for the MVP as well, and like getting the movie off the ground, and then for the movie itself starring in it. Yeah, he's got some iconic lines, which is great. The physical acting is phenomenal. It's like I said, there's a few moments where I could have asked for more, but I mean,
Which is fair.
it's not like it's not like I couldn't say the same for Frost either, right? Like it's just because MVP doesn't mean it's a perfect performance. It's just the most valuable. So
no, 100%. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. But that no certified this week, but
still no certified.
That's it for the
Filmies.
Filmies.
We got one last week.
Yeah, we did get one last week. Yeah, so we're not on a dry spell or anything. But
no. But
I just like
that's
hearing
it for the Filmies. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
You're right. But I can't just play it. We gotta
no. That would be, then people can complain if we started just doing that just so we could hear it. That'd be crazy.
That would ruin the integrity of the wop wop. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the episode, we would appreciate a 5-star review. Blade. What goes with Blade? That's 5.
Well, hands got cut off. So we could do a whole.
Yeah, true. 5 fingers. I don't know.
5 Quinn fingers. Yeah.
5 Quinn fingers. 5-star review. We would really appreciate that. It helps us grow. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok at the Film Room Pod. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Film Room Podcast. Search us up. We will see you next week for another great episode. Dion, take it away and close it off.
Before I take it away, I do want to say that we never said it, and we passed it a while ago. But now, as we keep climbing up, Thanks for the 200 subscribers on YouTube. We did it for the 100,
Oh,
but we never said
yeah.
it for the 200. Now I
Did we
think we're at
not?
like
Okay.
220 something
Yeah.
at this point. But I just want to throw the thanks out there because we never said it. Not that we weren't appreciative of it. Yeah, we just I think it was right around the time I think you went on vacation. So it was kind of
Could
just
be.
like the episodes were different. We weren't doing like filmies and stuff like that.
True.
So the episodes were just different. So it kind of happened. So I realized it the other day. I was like, oh, we never said anything. So shout out to the 200 subscribers on YouTube.
Shout out if you're listening on YouTube and you're subscribed. Appreciate it. Thank you. And if you're not, hit the subscribe.
Yeah, and shout out to the people that only listen to the pod. Like if you're not a YouTube watcher or listener / and you through a Spotify and Apple, shout out to you too. Appreciate everyone that does
absolutely.
all
We
the three
appreciate
things.
everybody that listens, comments, likes, even just watches and says nothing. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, 100% appreciate you. But that's why I just wanted to throw that out there. But that being said, I want you guys to remember that there's a lot of easier things to do than ice skating uphill, like telling a friend about your favorite movie podcast, your film podcast.
That is much
And
easier.
peace out. That is much easier. Peace out.
Peace out.